This is WTVM News Leader 9.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for the news at 11. I'm Jason Dennis.
And I'm Barbara Goach. Our top story tonight, it is an ordinance designed to control the landscape and appearance of commercial properties along the Manchester Expressway corridor east of Highway 80 in Columbus. News 9's Dante Renzulli spoke to business owners on both sides of the issue who addressed City Council tonight. Dante joins us now with more on what all of this means. Dante?
Thank you very much, Barbara. It's called an overlay, and essentially what it is where you draw lines on either side of a highway to create a zone. The laws will be different for the buildings inside of that zone because they can be seen from the busy road. Now, you can see the red lines on the map show that there's already one of these on the J.R. Allen Parkway in northeast Columbus. The overlay dictates what structures are allowed to look like, so they all stay within a certain theme. Now, the proposed overlay on Manchester Expressway is in blue. It extends from Highway 80 to the Harris County line. The ordinance would control things like the materials used in the buildings, and it would eliminate billboards. Realtor Marty Flournoy is opposed to the changes.
When a private business decides they want to build a building, this ordinance requires you to go to the planning director, and he's got to review your plans. He's got to decide if he likes the colors. He's got to decide if it's aesthetically pleasing. It's got so many things that are prejudicial against a small business.
He's the leader of the opposition, and his brother, Thomas Flournoy, is in favor of the ordinance. Now, he didn't want to speak on camera, but other people said they're backing the proposed law because they want to keep that part of Manchester Expressway from looking like Macon Road in Midtown with all the big signs. Now, by the end of the more than 3-hour discussion, the issue was postponed for another day to give people on both sides of the issue more time to reach a compromise and allow council members to gain a deeper understanding about the implications of this ordinance. Barbara and Jason.
All right, thank you, Dante. All new at 11 tonight. Parents, counselors, and school board members all turning their focus to making sure Muskogee County students are on the right track, even if it is summertime. At tonight's annual parent stakeholder meeting, parents were welcome to offer their input on the MCSD improvement plan, the CLIP plan as it's called. The purpose is to drive funding for young students and to go above and beyond setting goals to make sure students reach their destination of a good education.
Tell us what's working and what's not working. That's the only way we'll ever get better. So parents hear me say that all the time, but I truly believe that parent feedback is hugely important for us each year as we're trying to meet the needs of all the students.
Kim Jones also says there are plenty of opportunities to learn more about your child's individual school improvement plans as well. The school board pointed out the plan is a continuous cycle that hopes to engage both parents and students to be positively involved in the whole learning process.
Meantime, in Phoenix City, the Board of Education members there narrowing the field for superintendent. Today, Christopher Quinn was interviewed by the board. He is one of 2 finalists for the position. Quinn tells News Leader 9 he's been in education now for 35 years, and he's currently the assistant superintendent of the Stafford County Schools in Virginia. Irma Townsend, who is also a finalist, was interviewed earlier this month. No word on when a final decision will be made.
And tonight we're tracking some showers and a few thunderstorms still left out there as well on the radar network. Really looking at some of the heavier rain now in Harris County, all this north of Columbus, west of Interstate 185. We'll take you a little closer into that storm there. Again, we're looking at some lightning and thunder around the Mountain Hill community. This all lifting to the north and to the northeast. So if you live in northern Harris County, standing the best chance for seeing some of the stronger storms here in the next little bit. But the good news is overall there's a weakening trend. We still have some showers that might move into the Columbus and Phoenix City area here pretty soon. Not a lot of lightning or thunder left with that. Here's your forecast tomorrow morning. Cloudy skies early on. Temperature should be in the upper 60s. Then we might do it all over again tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening with those showers and thunderstorms. And don't forget about your chance to win a weather radio. Text the keyword Storm Team 9 to 40909 and you'll be entered in to win that programmable NOAA weather radio. Jason and Barbara, back to you.
All right, thank you, Derek. A 9-month-old girl has died after falling 5 floors from a hotel balcony in Savannah. The child fell Friday night and had been in critical condition at a local hospital until she died on Sunday. According to officials, the infant's family was visiting Savannah from Virginia for the holiday weekend. The Savannah-Chatham Metropolitan Police Department continues to investigate.
A Columbus man dodges a life sentence after pleading guilty to lesser charges this morning in the killing of his mother. Derek Harris pled guilty to stabbing his mother to death inside their home 6 years ago. Investigators say an argument between Harris and his mother ended with him stabbing her 2 times. 62-year-old Lorraine Street's body was discovered by relatives who came to check on her. Harris was initially charged with murder but struck a deal to plead guilty to the lesser charge of involuntary manslaughter. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Even though Georgia's primary election was a week ago, Alabama voters had the opportunity tonight to hear from Republican candidates whose names will appear on the ballot for that state's upcoming June 3rd primary election. News Leader 9's Annie Hubble was there tonight. She joins us live from our East Alabama newsroom. So, Annie, what were some of the key topics discussed?
Well, good evening, Jason. Members of the community came out and listened to candidate responses on issues ranging from the Common Core to sexual assault in schools, all with the goal of being prepared and encouraged to vote next week, Tuesday, June 3rd. 5 candidates running for Alabama state office gathered tonight at the Auburn Chamber of Commerce to answer questions asked by East Alabama residents. The event was hosted by the Christian Coalition of Alabama in association by the Patriots of Liberty Tea Party of Auburn, Opelika.
Because there's so many undecided voters right now, even the incumbents, many of them are not recognized well, and so we want the incumbents and both the challengers to have a good chance of meeting the public and helping get the undecideds to know more about these candidates so they'll be informed voters when they vote June 3rd.
The panel included Sandy Toomer, candidate for House District 79, Tim Sprayberry, candidate for Senate District 13, incumbent Senator Gerald Dial of District 13, Andy Carter, candidate for Senate District 27, and incumbent State School Board member Betty Peters. All candidates shared common views, including being against Common Core or a set of academic standards students should be able to know and do by the end of each grade.
18% of our kids who graduate from high school today go to college and have to take remediation courses. What does that do to mom and dad, and what does that do to the student? It puts them behind.
We have a lot of students who come out of our high schools and they do not know the basics. They don't know the basics in math. They don't know the basics in reading.
Candidates also commented on the need to attract new business to the state.
We've got to start making larger efforts, greater efforts to bring those jobs in.
From 2010 to 2013, job growth was negative 20,000 jobs.
And putting a stop to sexual assault in schools.
Laws are on the books. We have got to change the culture.
Now, absent from the forum tonight were incumbent Speaker of the House Mike Hubbard and Senator Tom Whatley of District 27. The Christian Coalition of Alabama say their goal tonight was to familiarize the community with candidates, making sure they are informed with the issues and encouraging them to vote next Tuesday, June 3rd in the primaries. Reporting live in the East Alabama newsroom, Annie Hubble, WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, Annie, thank you. And that Alabama primary exactly 1 week away, Tuesday, June 3rd. Alabama voters will head to the polls to select their party's candidates for the general election in November. But there will be a few changes when you make it to the voting booth, one being a new voter ID requirement for the entire state.
A new ID requirement in place this year. Voters are now required to have a government-produced photo identification. Driver's license, passport, military ID card, university student ID with a photograph. In the past, we have not had a requirement that the ID necessarily have a photo. People have used utility bills, things like that, hunting licenses. Those are no longer acceptable.
As always, voters will need to declare their party to receive either a Republican or Democratic ballot. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time.
Speaking of voting, new developments for the new Atlanta Braves Stadium. Tonight, the Cobb County Commission unanimously approved agreements for the Braves to move and build a $672 million stadium in Atlanta's northwest suburbs. It will open in 2017, replacing this place, Turner Field, where the Braves have played for 2 decades. Cobb County is set to contribute more than half the money, $368 million for this project, with the baseball team paying the rest.
I always liked Turner Field. Well, coming up here on the news at 11, a U.S. Marine among the dead after a plane crash in South Carolina. Hear what family and friends are saying about the victim.
Plus, who's to blame for the revealing of a top CIA agent's name to thousands of journalists? We'll tell you how the leak happened when News Leader 9 at 11 returns.